Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So before I start this video again, I'm going to tell you what I just did. So I had just filmed this video and it was half an hour long, and I go to edit it and I delete the whole thing. Lovely. So I'm on the verge of screaming. So welcome back to my channel. So today's video is a September reading wrap up, and I'm going to show you what I read in September and the lovely books that I've read. So before I start this video, I want to just have a disclaimer. These are just my opinions on the books that I have read, and if I like them, if I didn't like them, and if I say I didn't like a book that you really like, I don't mean it in a horrible way, it's just my opinion, and I have a specific taste in books, I think. But yeah, so let's start this video with the first book I read. So the first book I read was You and Me on Vacation by Emily Henry, which is who Book Lovers is by. So this book is about Poppy and Alex, and it shows you their friendship and how every summer they go on a vacation together. They had been going on vacation with each other for 12 years, and then something happened the last time they went on vacation and they completely stopped talking to each other for 3 years, until one day she hits him up saying, let's do a vacation together. So they went away on vacation together, and what happened this summer, their last summer together, they starts again, and that's how their relationship starts, and it just shows their journey on their vacations, shows a then and now kind of perspective. And yeah, I really love Emily Henry's books. I don't know, they're just like a very fast pace, and I really like the storyline and the characters. So yeah, that was the first book I read this summer, last month. And then the next book I read was Without Merit by Colleen Hoover, which is my favourite book in the entire world. I'm not kidding. I love this book so much. So this follows Merit and her messed up family. So it starts off with Merit, and she bumps into her sister's boyfriend, not knowing it's her sister's boyfriend. She didn't know her sister had a boyfriend. And they end up kissing. And he didn't realise it was her until he gets a phone call from her twin sister. Oh yeah, they're twins. So he gets a phone call from her twin sister, and they can just laugh about it and stuff. So yeah, he ends up moving in with them. The whole family is Merit, her twin sister, her stepmom, her dad, her older brother, her younger brother, and her mum. They all live in the same house, but they don't live in a house, they live in a church. And it just shows what happens and how much, like, all their lies and secrets and how it affects Merit mentally. And it shows her and Sage's relationship and what happens with them. So yeah, that is my all-time favourite book. Oh my god, I didn't give a star rating. So You and Me on Vacation, I give that a 4 out of 5. Without Merit, that is a 5 out of 5. My favourite book. One of my favourite books. You'll hear about another one in a minute. So this is one of my favourite books in the whole entire world. I loved it. Loved it so much. So yeah. The next book I read was All You're Perfect by Colleen Hoover. So this follows Quinn and Graham. And first of all, before I start, this book, I saw all over TikTok and stuff, and apparently it's a part of the Hopeless trilogy, and I asked people online, are they connected? Are these books, should I read them with the Hopeless series? Should I read it with a Hopeless series? And everyone was like, no, it's just a standalone book. So I just read it like the Hopeless series, didn't bother with this book until I got to the last book in the Hopeless series, like the novella. I was like, what is going on? Who are these people? And then people were saying, no, this is part of it. And I was like, oh my god, I've already read the books, so I had to read this one. And I saw a spoiler on TikTok by accident, as always, and it made me really not want to read this book. So the anxiety I had reading this book was awful. I felt like I was going to be sick while reading it. I was like, oh, I can't explain it. But yeah, so this follows Quinn and Graham. So they are mad, so it shows you at the start of the book how they get together and stuff, and you know, and then it flash forwards to the future and shows you their marriage and how they're struggling, because Quinn finds out she's infertile and she's always wanted to be a mother and to have her own children, and it really like destroys her, and it ends up destroying her marriage. Honestly, if that was me, I would have the same reaction as her. I felt so bad for her. I was so heartbroken for her. So I can't understand the pain she was going through, but I knew it was really bad. Yeah, it just shows the journey of them trying to build up their marriage, make it better, and yeah, this book, I just don't know how to explain it. I love Colleen Hoover's books, but I can't even look. Oh, I just can't explain how much anxiety this book gave me. It's just, I can't. If I had to read it again, I would not. But I gave it a 4 out of 5 because it was a good story, but the anxiety it gave me, it was just really bad. It was a good book. That's all I'm going to say. The next books I read was part of a trilogy, and it was This Summer I Turned Pretty trilogy. It's 3 books. So before I read these books, I watched the TV series, which is on Prime, which I probably shouldn't have watched it before reading the books, because the books came out first. But I couldn't get the books in, and I was really eager to watch it, so I did. I really prefer the TV show to the books. The books were really good, but I preferred the TV show better because it gave more detail and just better, in my opinion. So the first book is The Summer I Turned Pretty, which follows Belly, and it shows you her summers at Cousin's Beach with her mum, her brother Stephen, her mum's best friend Susanna, and Susanna's sons Conrad and Jeremiah. So since Belly was 10, she had a crush on Conrad, which is the oldest brother, and it just shows you the story of how her crush with Conrad begun and why she has a crush on him, and in it shows what's happening with Susanna. Susanna is their mum, obviously, and it shows how she's got cancer, which leads to It's Not Summer Without You. Spoiler about this book before. Susanna ends up passing away in this book, and it shows you how they all 4 of the children have a stronger relationship together now that they're having to be together a lot, because Belly and Stephen's mum is with the boys more to make sure they're okay and to sort out stuff with Susanna's death and stuff, and shows you the journey of them trying to keep the summer house in Cousins. And then at the end, spoiler, it shows you how Belly and Jeremiah become a couple, which leads to the 3rd and final book, We'll Always Have Summer. So this shows you, this is now in the future. This is when she was 16, and this is when she's 18 and she's in college, and she's at the same college as Jeremiah, and shows their relationship and what goes on. So another spoiler. I'm really bad with these spoilers. So when they're together, they're at a college party, and Belly finds out that Jeremiah, when they were on a break, that Jeremiah had cheated on her with another girl, and it shows that she like breaks it off with him, just doesn't want to see him, doesn't want to talk to him, and then his solution to fixing it is proposing to her. And I found that weird. I thought that was like really manipulating, and I just didn't like how he just proposed to her instead of just being like, right, sorry, I know I'm a bit of a plonkard, I shouldn't have done that. But no, he didn't. He did apologise, but he kind of just like manipulated her. I just don't know how to explain it. So it follows their journey of them planning their wedding, telling their family, which they do not agree with because they're only 18, and then comes to the wedding day, they end up calling it off, spoiler, and then she marries Jeremiah, not Jeremiah, Conrad, which is the better brother for her. So yeah, so I gave these books, The Summer I Turned Pretty, I gave this a 3 out of 5. Then It's Not Summer Without You, I gave it a 4 out of 5. And then We'll Always Have Summer, I gave it a 5 out of 5. This was my favourite book out of all of them, even though I don't like Jeremiah. So the next book I read, which is one of my all-time favourite books in the world, close, it's like a tie with Without Merit. This is Funny You Should Ask. I'm not sure who the author is. Sorry, I can't pronounce that name. But this book, I wanted it for the longest time because, I don't know, the story is just amazing and I just loved it. And the cover, tell me that is not just the cutest cover you've ever seen on a book, honestly. So this follows Chani, C-H-A-N-I, Chani, and she is an interviewee. She interviews people for a living, and she ends up getting to interview her celebrity crush, Gabe Parker, who is a famous actor, and he is going to be the new James Bond in the James Bond movie. And the whole world doesn't want him to be James Bond, so she has to interview him and convince the whole world why he should be Bond in the movie. So she interviews him for 3 days and they become friends and stuff, and then fast forward to the future, 10 years later, she's interviewing him again. But something happens the last time they were together and it's a bit awkward the next time she has to interview him. Yeah, and they end up obviously connecting a relationship, and it's just the cutest book ever. If you want to read a cute romance book, I say this one. I just can't explain how bloody amazing this book is, because he's like kind of at the end gives her an ultimatum. Do you want to, if you want to be with me, come with me now, or you can leave. Not as harsh as that sounds, but in a nicer way. I don't know how to explain it, but she gets out the car, she runs after him. I'm such a sook for romance books. So yeah, this is one of my all-time favourite books. I gave this obviously a 5 out of 5. I could not. And the last book I read this month, which is Love on the Brain by Ali Hazelwood, and this is who The Love Hypothesis is by, one of my all-time favourite books. People were comparing the books, which they are kind of similar, but they are very similar, but yeah. So this follows B, who is a neuro engineer, and she starts working for NASA, and she finds out her arch nemesis Levi is working for NASA. They went to college or university together, and he never liked her for some reason. She never knew why. She didn't do anything to him. And then she was engaged to this guy. Levi tries to tell this guy, no, you shouldn't marry her, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that, trying to get him to go away from her. When I first heard that, I was like, he obviously likes her. obviously from all the romance books I've read, I'm a bloody mastermind at this. But yeah, so you obviously find out the reason why he did that, and it's because he liked her, but doesn't tell that till like halfway through the book. So they're doing this project together, they really don't like each other, but then something happens and they form a friends with benefits relationship, and then that they start having feelings for each other. Right, this is where it really angers me. They're both scientists, and the same with the love hypothesis. They're both scientists, and to me, love is science. I think, like, I think love is science or whatever. I don't know, isn't it? So love, yeah. And they're the smartest people in the world, probably. Well, they're not the smartest people in the world, but they're really smart people. Same with the love hypothesis. They're two smart scientists, and they can't see that each other are in, they can't detect that each other are in love with each other, which really frustrates me when two people are in love with each other, don't tell each other they're in love with each other, and they can't, like, see it, especially when they're two really smart scientists. It just really frustrates me. But yeah, he ends up confessing his feelings to her, like, later in the book. She kind of shuts him off, then realises she's really in love with him, so she goes back to his house and tells him. So yeah, I loved it. So that's all the books I read last month. They're so pretty, mostly pink, love pink. So these are the books I have read last month, and I think this was one of the best reading months I've had. I don't know, they were just really good books. So if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. I will leave my Instagram in the description below. Subscribe, like if you want, and yeah, if you didn't like my opinions on these books, it's not really my fault. I have a particular taste when it comes to books, and yeah. So thank you for watching my video, and see you guys next time. Bye.